Hello and welcome to ISC2 Insights. I'm Chris Green. Joining me today is May Brooks Kempler, who's a member of the ISC2 Board of Directors, as well as being one of our certified members and involved quite heavily with our chapter program as well. May, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So there's a lot for us to talk about today. And first of all, I really want to talk, if we can, start off with about you personally and your certification journey. So you hold a couple of certifications now with us, don't you? Your
Yes.
CISSP and
HCISSP.
Which
We're sunsetting, unfortunately.
We are sunsetting,
yes.
unfortunately. But tell me a little bit about that journey and what initially motivated you to pursue a certification?
Well, the first time I ever heard of CISSP was probably the first week on my first cybersecurity job out of the army. And my then CEO said, I need you, at some point you'll have to get a CISSP. I said, okay, great, but what's that? We're doing 2006-ish. And for years I had that idea nagging, one day I'll do it. And I kept postponing it until I decided it was time to do it. Well, I was going to go for another course, a very long course, 10 months. And I was very fortunate that the CEO of the training company said, well, you'll be bored, you can teach this stuff, you're doing the CISSP. And I was fighting him for it because I told him, no, the CISSP is scary and everyone fails, and no, I can't do that. And he persuaded me. I took the exam, passed, and started teaching almost immediately after. So that was really a pivoting moment in my career, opened a lot of doors. And I think for many women, probably for men as well, but for many women, getting that external validation made me feel far more confident in pursuing other more senior roles in this industry.
Absolutely. Now, because you took that certification I was in quite an interesting time. It was roughly within that first decade or so that we launched the CISSP. And the cybersecurity industry was a very, very different makeup to where we are now. Very different composition of the workforce, very different composition of the threats facing organizations and users. For you, how have things changed? And more importantly, how do things need to change further, whether that's with the people or with the process?
Well, we all know there's a huge gap in the workforce. And the other problem with the workforce is we don't need people who are just starting out. If you look at companies, most companies are trying to recruit mid-level or senior professionals. Now, they're not going to come out of thin air, and they're not going to come out of university because they're too young and they don't have the experience. So we should seek a few things. One, for official universities, colleges, whatever, to offer internship, actual hands-on experience to sort of bridge that gap between theory and practice. And the other thing is pivoting people into this industry, which should be a no-brainer because over 60% of cyber practitioners claim that they are very happy and very fulfilled with their roles. And we know it's a very lucrative business, but people don't even imagine themselves going into this industry. They have a very specific perception of what a cybersecurity expert looks like, what's his background, who they are, and they don't think of themselves, oh, this is something I can pursue. I think that is something that we have to change because we need those diverse thinkers to go into this industry. Yeah,
I mean, and that has been one of the biggest challenges facing our workforce, has been greater diversity, greater balance as well, particularly on things like gender. We still have a huge imbalance between male and female members of the workforce. Beyond what's already happening, what are the biggest things that still need to be done? What should organisations be doing? What should governments be doing to try and improve the equity in our cybersecurity workforce?
So I think we should talk about the cybersecurity workforce more and sort of explain what it means, because cybersecurity is such a diverse field. There's something for almost everyone. Whether you're an introvert, an extrovert, super techie, not techie at all, we need people that are diverse thinkers. And people don't even think about it as an option because they don't think, oh, I'm not a programmer, I can't go into cybersecurity, or I don't like puzzle solving, I can't go into cybersecurity. No, that's not the case. So I think it's organizations, it's government, but it's us as individuals in this industry talking about it with our friends, with our peers, with our families, our loved ones, anyone, because I'm very passionate about this industry. We just had Security Congress with so many wonderful speakers who were all super passionate about the challenges that we see in this industry. And we know there are so many challenges, so We need to get people to think about this as an option, especially people that are more senior, that already had one career. Maybe it's legal, maybe it's law enforcement, maybe it's journalism, that want to have some sort of career shift, and they can utilize their backgrounds. A lot of people think they should delete whatever they've done before and start from scratch and go to SOC analyst position. No, I can get junior SOC analyst positions. I can't replace someone's background and experience. So.
And you make a very good point there. I mean, it's those transferable skills that are so valuable. I mean, you yourself, obviously you came from a background in the military before you moved into the private sector and working in cybersecurity. So, I mean, you brought a variety of skills, I'm sure, from your military training into that world. And so anybody that's coming from a variety of workplaces outside of cyber, cyber is not closed to them because they're not a lifelong techie. But there's a whole range of everything from problem solving, analytics, understanding of risk that people can bring with them from other walks of life.
Absolutely. For example, salespeople. A lot of cybersecurity professionals don't understand the business side. But someone who comes from sales or marketing or any sort of business role, let's call it, can bring a fresh perspective. So they will understand, because sometimes I will have conversations with security practitioners and sometimes, unfortunately, even CISOs. And I'll ask them, what does your company do? Okay, they'll know. Who are your biggest competitors? I don't know. How is your stock performing? Why are you asking me that? For me, that's not being a CISO. That's being maybe a practitioner, maybe. Because if you don't understand the business side, with all due respect to cybersecurity, and I built an entire career in cybersecurity, no question, I think it's important. It's a business enabler. It's not a goal on its own. Our goal is to protect the business or any organization we're in.
Okay. And one last question on that front. I mean, what advice would you give to somebody that is looking to enter the cybersecurity workforce and is looking for a professional development option like certifications?
Well, I would start with the CC. Not just because we're ISC2, because I think that certified in cybersecurity is actually a wonderful entry point to realize, do you like this field? Are you interested? Is that something you're passionate about? Start reading. There are so many books and podcasts and blogs that you can read. There's my books, Hacking in Cybersecurity, that can also bring some sort of understanding of what we're talking about. Now, if someone reads these things, listen to podcasts, read something in the newspaper and say, wow, this is fascinating, I want in. So first stage, get a certificate. Start coming to networking events. Some of them are paid, but some of them are free of charge. There's so many groups. Start asking people on LinkedIn, on social media in general, what do they do? What does their day-to-day job, what does it look like? What does it mean? Do I have the skills? What do I have to build? So it also depends on what you want to do. If you think, I want to be a hacker, but you're 40-something and you don't know programming and you've never done anything like that, maybe you should do something adjacent. I'm not saying you can't do it. Maybe you can, but would it utilize your background and experience? Not necessarily.